Hello, and welcome to the Black Dice Society. Desmond and Tatiana, here in this underground military installation slash laboratory, surrounded by all manner of horrors and experimentations here that the Red Talons have been performing to attempt to give themselves any edge possible against the oncoming and largely unstoppable undead hordes. You all have found yourself treated like visiting dignitaries due to some quick thinking on Brother Uriah's part to pose as emissaries from Darkon, ancestral enemies, occasional allies of the people of Falkovnia. It has at least gotten you all more access than you ever could have gotten at the tip of a sword, and yet here you've also discovered some deeply troubling things, as a number of their soldiers have volunteered to take the primal serum and become lycanthropes in their own right. A at least somewhat successful campaign to domesticate, or at least semi-domesticate, some of the undead that toil right now above a cruel simulacrum of the life they once lived in these lands, tilling soil, congregating in the temple, and going through things as the gross approximation of life that zombies tend to be. And yet now the two of you find yourselves with a moment, having had an opportunity to eat your fill and even drink a little bit of wine that had been stashed for the officers' supply, as you see your friends helping with the preparations to depart and head to the capital of Lakar ahead of the zombies' inevitable invasion in just 2 nights. The two of you find yourselves alone for a moment.
Desmond, I do not like these lycanthrope people being held in this way.
Neither do I, but do they choose it, or is it forced upon them? So it's really a difficult conundrum for me. I don't know how to feel about it.
I think in Falkovnia, the term choose means something different than it does to us.
Fair.
In this place, zombies will eat you if you do not do something. And is this all that they can do?
I don't think there's ever a question of whether or not it's all that someone can do. There's always other options, but these are the options they chose. And as someone who understands what they now have become, it's not something that I imagine people would take lightly.
No. Desmond, we have not had much chance to speak since your brother's wedding.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
It's been what, like 4 days?
It feels like a lifetime.
It's been rough. We left. I don't know if he's okay. I don't even remember seeing my mom the entire night. There's a lot that I don't know. Like, who was that dude that showed up? He just decided to, I'm big and bad. Fight me. Of course. Just possibly the guy who slaughtered a bunch of my family. So of course we're going to fight. Obviously, I'm not going to walk away from that, but
Desmond, there are some things you should know.
other than the fact that we didn't even get to finish the fight to like redeem my family, like what is it? What could there possibly be that I need to know?
The fight is coming. Lord Soth is coming.
Such.
As I say his
I
name,
don't know who
I'm
Lord Soth is.
lightly reminded of his brand engraved on my back. It seems to pulsate. He He marked me. And now he will pay.
Marked you? Marked you how?
I have shown you, you see? Here.
Oh, that.
Did you
Wow.
forget?
It's been a weird 4 days.
I suppose it is true.
We fought a gigantic plant that had filled people up with its goo. There's a lot to forget.
When you put it that way, I guess I got off easy. No, I was visited Desmond.
Visited?
Lord Soth, he took me.
When was this?
It was just after the carnival. That's why I was so angry. Right before we came here to Falkovnia. Before the mist swallowed us. Yet again. He took me to another place, but I did not have my weapon. I had no weapons, or I would have slaughtered him then and there. You know this is true.
Obviously.
He is strong. He has powers. He has magics. But he did not hurt me. He showed me pieces of his life in exchange for pieces of my memory. I don't know what he wishes to do. He said that I will have the opportunity to fight again when the time is right. And that I will die in this battle.
You dying in battle? It would take somebody extremely powerful for that to happen.
Well, it's true, I know. He's
I don't
only
see
way
that being
worthy.
a light thing. He's got to be really good to even consider that.
He is very good, I hate to admit.
I'm actually just curious now if he branded you and plans to fight you. Why did he brand you? There had to be a purpose other than to find you to fight you.
Desmond, he branded you as well when he killed Nika.
So it was him.
I do not know, but everyone was covered in blood, including you, when he rode up on his mighty steed and tried to kill us with army of undead. So yeah, I kind of will blame him for now.
I've been blaming him the whole time, but I feel like something you just said changed that. You said, like, I was covered in blood. Other people were covered in blood. My brother showed up, but he rode up on a horse. Could he ride up on a horse if he's been there killing people? Why would he bother getting on a horse? We were in the same castle. The castle's big, but if you just killed my brother's wife, and my brother was closer to me than you were, and they just got married, they're busy. There's no way they're going to be in separate places. So now that makes me curious if he did do it. Either way, when we see him, I'm going to find out.
I have your back in this fight, if you have mine.
Of course.
But for now, I wish to free these lycanthropes.
Agreed. The question is how? And would they even leave?
And as you are posing this discussion to yourselves, you see the building in this duplicate village that has been built underground under Finzi. This barn-like edifice. The doors slide open where there are those 4 cages. There is a half man, half wolf, similar to you, Desmond. There is a half cat, a half boar and a half rat that are in cages with thick but rusty bars that they sort of sit on the floor. And you see people approaching them with a large wagon. You're like, okay, it's time to load up, all right? Stand up now, stand up. And all four of them do. And they're like, yes, okay, is this first cage? Arrange them. And you see they tilt it over, and the rat inside sort of like slips over and tries to right itself. And you see it actually stands on the bars of the horizontal cage like it's nothing as they lay it on the cart and start sliding it into position. And you see the other three of them as they get to their feet do their best to stand at attention like soldiers, even in their torn, ratty clothing. And you can see all of their bodies are covered with scars. You realize this experiment, whatever it is, has been going on for some time and apparently has been working. And with that, hello and welcome to the Black Dice Society, episode 7, Don't Praise the Day Before the Evening. Again, this is a Ravenloft campaign, which is a horror campaign, which means we may deal with content. We almost certainly will deal with content that usually doesn't come up as a part of D&D streams. As part of that, some of it may be disturbing, some of it may be unnerving. We have a system in place of safety tools with the cast. I am aware of their lines and veils, individual go and no-go areas. And if something happens, they can let me know. And if a scene should happen to shift abruptly or stop in midstream, it might be because we've made somebody uncomfortable. Ravenloft is not a kind place, and it is not a forgiving place. Here in Falkovnia, it is a kingdom that is on the brink of defeat. Crumbling, semi-abandoned villages dot the landscapes. Tombstones outnumber people. Strangely fertile land sits with crops growing high, waiting for someone to come harvest them, if only they could survive long enough to return home with the spoils. The capital city of Lakar stands to the north. The humanity here's last hope for survival of yet another wave. And you all, being visitors here, are starting to realize that this is a kingdom on the brink of collapse. Whatever is happening here is not going well. With that being said, let us meet our cast. And I will go in the order that you all hear on my screen, starting with Nahara.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nora Ibrahim, and tonight I am playing Nahara, a reborn, fallen Azamar, undead warlock.
Brother Uriah. You are muted, Brother Uriah.
Silence, 15-foot radius. Hello, I'm Mark Muir, and I will be playing Brother Uriah, Cleric of the Grave and Priest of Ezra, Lady of the Mists.
Finn.
Hello, I'm Tanya DePass. I play Fen, your drow Dhampir, blood hunter, and both Fen's pronouns and mine are she, her.
Tatiana.
Hey everyone, I'm Becca Scott, but you can call me Tatiana, Ergenazi Barbarian. Pronoun she, her. What's up?
Desmond.
Oh, hi, it's me. I'm DJ Knight. I am playing Desmond, human ranger Lycanthrope, who maybe a hero for fun on occasion. I don't know, maybe. But pronouns he, him. Also, hi, good to see you.
And last but certainly not least, Valentine.
Hi, I'm Sage Ryan, but tonight I am Valentine. Valentine was previously a high half-elf, but is now a reborn aberrant mind sorcerer and is absolutely never a hero.
Heroism is for suckers,
And
right?
we both use she, her pronouns.
Before we go on, thank you all for tuning in. I invite you to like and comment and share these videos. It really does make a difference for us. So if you are stopping by and you like this, please interact with each other, interact with the content. The algorithm notices. It really does help. Before we begin and go on too far, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Die Hard Dice. Custom sets for each of our characters are available now. I'm aware the Finn palette is sold out. Not sure when it will return, and some of the other ones are getting very low. But you can visit that link that is hopefully appearing in chat right now, and you can use code BDS to get 10% off of any of our dice sets or any of the other amazing things that you can find on Die Hard Dice. Our TeePublic store is live. You can get all sorts of things. You can get shirts, bags, mugs, masks, anything that you can think of probably is available in our TeePublic store. Secret Lab chairs. Again, I love mine. I spend more time in this chair than probably anywhere other than my bed. It's like rolling around on the couch. For me, I got the XL, especially if you're a bigger person. Holler at it. It's been like butter. We also are sponsored by Idle Champions, thankfully. If you put exclam code in chat right now, you should get a code for a free Electrum chest there. Our characters are not in Idle Champions yet, but maybe, who knows? Hope springs eternal. And last but certainly not least, we have a Patreon where you can get early access to our podcasts, our exclusive weekly after show. If you want to know about Tatiana's encounter with Lord Soth, that is up right now. Right before we filmed this, Nahara had an unusual visitor of her own. That will go up live tonight as soon as we are done here. So patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. We have Discord, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. You can find us anywhere. And one last thing, right before we went live, we got an avalanche of some extra fan art. Thank you all so much for that. That really means a lot to us. We all talk and share the fan art that we get. It moves me personally because that means something we did inspired someone else to create something that they thought was cool. And I can't really think of any kinder words that are kinder feedback you could offer us as performers than to take what we do and make it your own. So thank you all so much for that. If you do, make sure you tag us in it wherever you put it up, and then let us know if it's all right that we share it in the fan art before the show. Now, with that being said, on with our story. Here in more Finzi, Tatiana and Desmond have rejoined the group, and you all have a moment to collect yourselves. Again, you were tasked by Isolde, the leader of the carnival to come here and find 4 missing members of her crew to help them if they're in trouble, and if they've simply deserted them, to return them to face her justice. In exchange for this, she would take you wherever it is you needed to go next, which is no small offering in the land of the mists, where it is very easy to get lost. You all originally arrived in Delmunster, where you found the people had been taken over by a body taker plant, and narrowly escaped with your lives intact when both you escaped the plant and its minions, but also when the undead that it had been keeping at bay returned. Soon after traveling, you came upon a strange town where the undead themselves seemed to be going about their day, their lives, tilling fields, minding stores, meeting in temples. And you all were immediately surrounded by strange-looking men and women, clearly fighters and warriors, that all bore strange red falcon iconography tattoos somewhere on their body. Again, thanks to the quick thinking of Brother Uriah, you all were able to pass as diplomats from Darkhan, and the leader of this settlement, Bjorn Horstman, who is an older arcanist, took you all on a little tour and let you see the experiments they've been running under there, developing all manner of weapons of last resort to find a way to allow Falkovnia to endure for a little bit longer, if not find a way to win the war against the undead. You all have been invited to ride back with them to Lakar, the capital to the north, because it is time for them to evacuate more Finzi, because the walls of the city are the only sure protection against what is to come in 2 nights. What would you all like to do?
How long do we have before we depart for Lakar?
You see they have pulled out 3 large carts. The first cart looks nicer. It is kind of a worn but very well crafted mahogany, and has pillows strewn about in the back. You definitely feel like that is going to be the cart that Bjorn travels in, and probably you as well, being visiting dignitaries. The second cart contains the 4 cages of the Lycanthropes, with probably just enough room for a couple of attendants to ride with them. And the third cart is the remaining soldiers, the talons themselves, and these other arcanists that seem to have been working there with Bjorn Horseman. But they also don't bear the tattoos that the men and women at arms bear, but they've all got that blood red hawk on them somewhere. They will be in the third cart. You think you probably will depart in minutes. They move quickly and efficiently. They knew they had to go. So it seems like 15 minutes or so max.
I did have one question. What is Dracoff's title here in Falkovnia? They're the ruler, clearly, but are they referred to as a king or a queen, rather?
She is the Red Falcon. They defer to her more as a military leader, but her name is always spoken with a hushed reverence type thing. All hail, Ledeska Drakov.
I would like to speak to one of these soldiers.
You see, especially Tatiana, you're aware of sizing up an opponent and when you're being sized up. These are statuesque men and women, but none as much as you. None are as tall and imposing as you. But you can see from their scars and demeanor that all of them have been at this a while. You have your choice of men or women to approach. Most of them are standing out of arm's reach, not being overly aggressive, but definitely looking at you thinking, I can take her. That's all right. If they try something, that's okay. All right.
I sized them all up and I want to find the woman with the most scars.
There is. Give me a perception check, actually.
12.
You easily spot one. She's got dark black hair that is salt and peppered, that is tied into braids that then come back into one braid that hangs down her back.
Braids recognize braids.
Braids recognize braids. You would have thought initially that she might be in her 50s, but as you look closer at her, she's probably not much older than you. You just know she's had a hard life.
Hello. Tatiana is my name.
Guten Tag. I'm Freya.
Freya. Is a nice name. I see you are not afraid to kill things, yes?
Most of my opponents were dead to begin with, but no, I have fought both the living and the dead, yes.
Yes, I need to be more careful with my references to the dead, and I can be flippant of these things. I have questions about this land. You were born and it was this way? Has it always been so?
For clarification, before we continue, Desmond followed up behind her when she started to, based on their conversation, when she started to go up to her, he's kind of over her shoulder, just crossing his arms, listening in.
You all see as she stands there, she rests her hands on the pommel of her sword. Not aggressively, but her hands are on her weapon. Okay, we're all being cool. You're cool, I'm cool, everybody's cool type deal. And she's like, yeah, the undead have become worse in recent times. Falkovnia Vladeska Drakov, she brought order and peace to Falkovnia and was sehr gut for a time. And then the undead came, and we thought not too much of it. We fought raiders, we fought pirates, we fought would-be kings and conquerors. It was nothing to us. And the problem with the undead is every time we lose someone, but not only do our forces get weaker, but theirs get stronger. The turning point was 6 months ago, I think, when we lost the river quadrant. Has been difficult since then.
I am sorry to hear. Do you not fall upon your own sword when you feel yourself turn to their side?
Many have tried to take their own lives rather than join the ranks as the dead, but the dead is the dead. They do not care if one died gloriously or not. But I could not face my ancestors if I were to die a coward's death. My body might return, but I believe my spirit would go on to the great halls.
Interesting theory. Desmond, what do you think?
I'm very curious to know more about all of this.
And this leader, you remember the days before she came?
I was very young.
No
My
one
father.
was... Oh, yes?
My father spoke of such things on occasion, but I have only ever known the wisdom of Vladeska Drakov's rule. I was declared a true born of Falkovnia when I was but a girl. For
Congratulations.
bravery and service to Falkovnia.
Does she have the tattoo? The red?
She does. Hers is on her neck.
This mark, this is what it represents? The trueborn?
Nine. This mark represents we are the talons. We are the best and the brightest of the Falkovnians. The trueborn, you must earn by deed, by merit. She leans in and she says, very few who came here with Vladeska Drakov remain. But Bjorn Horstman is one. There are those who question whether or not our leader has the proper wisdom and perspective to do what must be done. Every time the undead come, we turn them back, jawohl, but at greater and greater cost. Soon I fear there will be nothing left of Falkovnia to rule over. Of course, you can never express this out to Vladeska Drakov. You cannot tell Bjorn Horseman I have expressed such things. The penalty would be steep, even for me.
You have my silence because I see you are honorable, and I respect what I see.
She turns and looks past you guys at the others, and she says, "You two are fighters. The elf as well. I see the scars on your bodies. I see the look in her eyes. I know the look of another killer when I see. The other three, they seem less adept at our ways. The redhead, she is dressed so beautifully. The other one, she is cradling Unkinder, a baby? Why would someone have a baby here? And the man in the trifle hat, the diplomat. They are talkers. The diplomats, they do not do. They hide behind people like us to keep them safe, while they speak words that lead to war.
Tatiana sort of flexes and cracks her muscles and well, not everyone can be warrior, or we have nothing special to protect them with, you understand. Oh, I suppose they also have some impressive things they can do, but is not quite the same as, being able to kill with bare hands, right, Desmond? Or teeth.
I have been known to kill a person with teeth on occasion. It's a rarity, but it happens.
And we just start swapping stories of one time I killed a man 10 feet tall.
She listens for a moment, and then she looks both ways, and she says, "When we arrive in Lakar, and you all have the audience with the Vladeska, afterwards, perhaps your diplomat would wish to speak to another faction in the city that might be more favorably inclined to a partnership with Darkon.
Perhaps you could coordinate such an introduction, quietly."
Yeah, jawohl. Apologies. I must maintain the appearances here. You understand the way of things, yeah?
Yeah, should we wrestle or?
She immediately pushes you back and draws her sword and is like, "Yes, I know you are big, but you would not find the talons dying so easily." And you see when she does that, they all draw their swords. And all the rest of you see this too.
Oh, Fen pulls out her sword immediately.
Yeah, and Desmond kind of just grabs both of his blades, his long sword and his short sword, and just, is it time?
I grab my weapons as well.
My hands just start glowing.
Does Brother Uriah say anything?
Now come now. We're all friends here, I think. Yes.
I'd just like to message to Tatiana. The conversation didn't go well.
No, this is a dear friend. We get along great.
And then right as
I'll sit back down.
Like he didn't hear it, obviously, but Desmond's just like, "I think we can be fine here. Seems like a little misunderstanding. Are we good?" And he's gesturing to the woman we just got done talking to.
You see Bjorn Horstman just appears behind her. Literally, he isn't there, and then he's there. And he's like, "Is there a problem, Freya?" And she says, "I felt they were challenging our courage. They said when the undead comes that I was too old and would drop my sword and run in fear. I showed him I am not afraid, Herr Horseman."
It was simply a test, my friends, and you have passed. We will fight beside you, if you will have us.
And she looks at Bjorn, and he just sort of like puts a hand on her shoulder and says, "Ah, yes, your loyalty and your bravery is well known, Freya. I believe it's the misunderstanding. It's the cultural. Yeah, Herr Diplomat." And he gently puts her sword down.
Oh, yes, of course, Herr Horseman. Just a bit of a diplomatic kerfuffle is all. I'm sure it will be fine.
You see the rest of the soldiers, it's like a light switch. They're just like sitting there fine. Oh, we're doing murder. Oh, okay, we're fine. Like they put their swords away and it's like it's nothing. They're just completely relaxed.
I slowly put my weapons back. It was not axe, it was smaller weapons. Don't worry.
I do apologize, Herr Horstman. My companions are, of course, of a more martial cloth than myself.
It's like, I understand. Also, I like to be a man of the thinking more than the sword play, yeah. I believe we are... All is good, yeah. We shall be departing soon. Freya, go... You see that the wagon is prepared, yeah. And she very much looks at the two of you and she says, when we get to Lakar, we will settle this, yeah? I show you who is a coward.
If you are still alive and you are not undead scum, I must kill. Again.
And you see,
Brother Uriah lets out a really high-pitched laugh at this point, like, "Oh, yes, of course. Just as our two mighty nations often have some friction in their diplomatic dealings, so too must we learn to iron out these minor misunderstandings."
I wink at Freya.
Underestimating me only works to my advantage.
you see he turns Freya and like kind of escorts her now. He's like, yeah, no. It's we will all come to understand our ways soon. Yeah. Please prepare yourself. I must insist that you six ride with me in my wagon at the vanguard of our little caravan here. Yeah, please. Yeah.
You're too kind. Too kind.
The pillows are too soft looking there.
You see, he does sort of kind of gently but forcefully, move Freya back towards that third wagon. And you all notice the four lycanthropes have just been watching. They didn't do anything aggressive. They didn't grab the bars. They're just like...
Well, Fen still has her sword out, by the way. She hasn't put it away. She's just like, so what we doing?
Desmond kind of walks over to Fen and just, that was for show. We're good. Tell you later. And he just kind of walks back. Like he sheathed his swords on the way over to talk to her, but just kind of lets her know that like we're good here. No need to get crazy.
Aw, you don't let me have fun, Desmond.
We'll have fun soon enough. These are not the people we're gonna have fun with in that way.
Fine, but you owe me a fight later.
I get the feeling we won't have issues finding fights.
I know, but you owe me a fight later.
Fair. I'm just doing everything I can to not let them know about me.
I got you.
They're lycanthropes. No parts.
Oh, they won't do that to you.
Oh, I know. But I also don't want to find out what they have to keep them there. Because if you notice, a lot of them are still like half changed. That's not normal.
Wolfsbane?
Maybe. And if they have some, I would prefer not to find out.
Don't worry, I've got you.
Appreciate you.
I reluctantly put my sword away.
Brother Uriah, you've become accustomed to a certain ambient hum in the particular undead presence of Valentine, Finn, Nahara, and especially Stuart. Even when you're not consciously looking, something in your mind always kind of knows when they're around. The vibration that you're accustomed to from Nahara and Stuart stops. You don't feel her.
I glance around to see if I can see her anywhere.
She's still standing, looking ready to fight, but the fire's gone out in her hands.
I'll approach and cautiously wave my hand in her field of vision. Nahara, are you... Oh.
Nahara, you were here, and then you were gone. And now you're back again, with Uriah in front of you, looking concerned.
In just the few moments that have passed.
Nahara, are you all right?
I think so. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could speak freely.
I'm
tell
not
you-
sure I understand.
I need to speak to you
About something, and I just raise my wrist towards him.
Brother Uriah, she's got a mark that she didn't have before that looks like someone has branded her with a coin that you very much recognize from growing up in Darkon.
I stare at her wrist and then, not taking my eyes away, fumble in the pouch at my belt. And cautiously, not hold it so that anyone else can see, I hold up a silver piece that's emblazoned with the same likeness. What does it mean?
And leaning in closer, are we alone or can we?
You very easily can kind of pull away, and you're fairly sure that everyone is kind of piling into the wagons and loading up equipment and things. You can kind of easily pull him to the side.
I guess I don't know how to explain this other than how we had traveled that previous time. But I met him. Him.
You met who?
Him.
That narrows it down to 50% of the population.
I'm just like shoving my wrist in his face.
Him. Met him.
As
Yes.
Rex.
Yes.
The king? My king?
Yes. Your king.
When did you meet him?
Now? I don't know.
Oh, you mean
Now-ish?
just now when I felt that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I believe so.
Ezra's breath. What What
It
did
was,
he-
it was me. It was me, and Stuart was there, and he spoke to me about things, past things.
Well, Nahara, you must understand. The king
And
of
you-
Darkon is and me.
Yes,
I see.
yes, you have it.
I'm well aware that my monarch is a powerful spellcaster. Some might say unmatched. His powers are many. His resources almost endless. I suppose it's not out of the question that he could. But what was it that he said to you?
Well, I don't want to get into exact details now.
All right.
But-
Well, if not now, then when?
I guess. I suppose what I can tell you is we came to an understanding, you see.
I see. Nahara, you must understand something. Azalin is my king. and he has long protected the people of Darkon, but he is by no means a benevolent ruler.
Well,
Not
yes,
benign in any case.
I mean, I gathered that. He seemed very eloquent and very polite, but
I'm
very
sure.
terrifying at the same time.
Yes, you'll recall that I recently found myself standing before him.
Yes, well, that's how I knew it was him. It's because I recognized his voice, you see.
Oh, yes. Yes, that thing you told me about. If you've entered into some manner of bargain with my king, of course I will support you and attempt to help if I can.
Oh, thank you. That really does, I guess, put me at ease a bit, because it's complicated, you see.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure it is.
But do you remember how I showed you something from our trip?
Oh, yes. Yes, that,
Yes.
memento, yes.
Yes. Well, there's more to it.
You were told this by...
Somehow he knows. Somehow he knows everything.
That is not surprising. As I say, his power is vast and his reach is very long indeed. I suppose, in a sense, it is good to have so powerful an ally, but we flatter ourselves to think of ourselves as allies. We are useful pawns, perhaps.
And that's the thing, is I didn't want to be a pawn. But I couldn't refuse what he was offering me. And
You need not
I wouldn't
explain.
have...
You need not explain yourself to me. As I said, I will help you as I can, and not simply because my king apparently bids it.
I thank you for that, and I only wish that... That's silly,
What?
I put my faith in that bargain because of you.
I see. Well, then I am most flattered.
Valentine, as you are observing all of this, trying to block out Tregram's loud meowing, after a moment, he switches over to deep speech. Well, okay, I was just trying to lean into the cat thing, but I do have two very important pieces of information to give. You should be very pleased with me, Valentine. Very pleased indeed.
Why don't we hear the pieces of information before you seek the praise?
We have negotiated a non-aggression pact with a very powerful adversary. We've offered our assistance in exchange for your safety.
Who is we?
All of us.
I am no more informed than I was before.
Oh, I suppose you don't understand yet. This is one of those burdensome things. Do you remember in your former life when you would go to a merchant and they would say things like, if you have to ask how much something costs, you can't afford it?
Yes.
If you don't understand who we are yet, then I don't think I can explain it to you.
Then who did you negotiate with?
A king.
Was I able to overhear the conversation between Nahara and Brother Uriah, or were they too far away?
They were too far away.
Okay.
Oh.
A king.
Yes.
How do you go about negotiating? Do you show up as a cat and meow until they pet you, or?
I don't think anyone else can see that but you, but I might attempt it next time. Surely nothing untoward could come from it. Well, the opportunity presented itself that he was in need of partnership, and we only had one demand: that you be unharmed. And delightfully, he agreed.
And what are we as a collective providing in return?
Oh, Valentine, you are so important. You are meant to rule. You must understand this, yes?
What the hell am I meant to rule?
What aren't you meant to rule? And we are working to secure your seat now. And another thing that you must remember is that a ruler must be able to form alliances.
Sure, it would probably help to meet the people you're forming alliances with, wouldn't it?
Yes, but before we dive too deeply into that sort of leads to the second piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends over there, the delightfully amnesiac hoarder and the delightfully skittish human,
Yes.
they're being watched.
By who?
You see over there by the cart, see that one over there in the robe? That is not a Falcovnian.
Who are they?
Well, that I'm not sure. But they're definitely keeping a close eye and a close ear on Nahara and Uriah.
How far are they from me?
30 feet or so.
I cast Mind Sliver on one of them.
On the one that he says is watching?
Uh-huh.
All right. Is Mind Sliver an attack from you or a save from them?
It is a save. It is an intelligence save of 12.
Okay. Well, hang on. Now that we have the book, I can just look up some things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, will be available for everybody on Tuesday. Highly recommended.
My dice here.
They do not make the save.
Excellent. That's a d6 of psychic damage, and they also subtract a d4 from any saving throws they make in the next little bit.
Excellent. All of you see what looks like one of the scientists that is loading up the wagon just suddenly like grabs their head and sort of like stumbles for a second, and like their nose begins to bleed. And they look around confused.
I would like to cast it on the other one too, if I might.
Oh, there's only the one.
I thought you said there were two that were watching.
Oh, one
over there and one over there.
Your two friends.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then excellent. I will go ahead and rejoin the party. And while I'm walking over, I would like to send a message to that one and just say, "Who are you?"
That was a surprise. I did not think that you would strike so powerfully for one so young.
And I didn't think your nose would bleed so easily.
And you see this person turns and looks at you with the blood all over their face, Valentine, and their eyes turn bright yellow. A bright yellow you have seen before. at the crossroads, the night that you met your now companions. And then the yellow eyes go away, back to another person. I mean, back to the human eyes.
And they don't say anything else? We should all get on the transport. We should get out of here. To the general group.
Like that, then I guess we gotta go.
Time to go.
Yes. Herr Horstman expects us in the carriage.
I hop
Are
in
we
the
all
wagon.
getting into one carriage?
It's kind of like a long wagon.
Oh, I'm sorry, wagon.
I shove
A
the
nice
pillows
wagon,
aside.
but a wagon.
I sit on the hardwood underneath the pillows. It's too soft for me. It won't make me soft.
Tatiana, you're just going to be uncomfortable.
Jeez.
That very much could make you soft.
I don't understand.
You know,
Well,
if you're not going to use that cushion, I wouldn't mind too.
It's for
yes,
you.
I'll find a cozy spot to sit, and then I will hold Stuart in my lap.
I'd like to just kind of stay near the door so I can see who else is boarding into this particular wagon.
It looks like there is room for the driver up front, kind of a Herr Horstman to kind of sit with his back to the driver. And then there's probably just enough pillows for you all.
Okay.
Okay, maybe just a small pillow.
No, you gave it up, Tatiana.
Okay.
No, I don't mind. I just...
No, you're right. She made a
it's true.
choice. She made a choice.
But I do appreciate it. I have a very bony bottom.
I noticed. I slapped his bum as he gets in the wagon.
I say.
We're being watched.
Interesting.
We're always being watched.
Well, we're being watched by someone other than the people we expect to be watching us.
Oh, who would that be?
And I'll just point to the man with the bloody nose.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I suppose that's him.
You see, he is sort of like wipes it off. Like,
Did you punch him?
Sort of.
Good work.
Thank you.
yes, that was most impressive.
I love to watch you make things bleed. Sorry I missed it.
Might I suggest that all of us just restrain our more violent impulses, considering we are being taken under armed guard to a fortified city?
But that
No
is
one
how
can see it.
I make
you're
friends
right.
that way.
You're asking us.
Did he say what he
abstain from
I'm
wanted?
violence.
begging you. I'm begging you.
Oh, fine, Uriah. But there's blood right there.
Yes, of course.
You would say beg. Like, if you wouldn't have said beg, I mean, maybe not. But you did.
Both
Okay.
Thank you.
Finn and Desmond, give me perception. Give me perception with advantage for you two in particular.
Oh, yay.
All right.
I probably should be rolling actual die, but 22.
No problem.
That is
Dealer's choice. You can use D&D Beyond or physical dice, whatever you
I mean,
have.
so that's
do
dirty
have-
20.
I have been using the new evil dice on D&D Beyond because they're evil dice. However, our Die Hard dice character sets are also so there's no
I mean, this thing is
no
nice.
wrong.
Look at this.
No
This
wrong
is
answer.
Fancy.
That is
That is a dirty 20 since we got advantage.
dirty 20 and a 22. As Valentine points out, that man who's bleeding, both of you literally have a nose for such things. You're aware that blood's not human. You can't place it. It's not a scent that you've smelled before. That's not a person.
Oh. I
immediately
like,
look at Fenn and just,
that's not right.
Correct.
and then
Did
just
he
kind of like,
state? Go ahead.
I was kind of like leaning into the party, just like, I get the feeling Fenn knows as well, but like, what's up with that dude? That is not a human. It's not human blood. Don't like it.
Did he state his business? How did you know?
No, I was aware of his presence being
He's-
different.
He's undead then, or
No.
Can't
No.
place it. He's
Yes,
not
I don't understand. Please explain.
His
Did it
blood doesn't.
His eyes were similar to eyes that appeared in the forest the first night we all found each other.
Oh.
They blinked with a strange shade of yellow. They
Oh.
are something that has been following us, and they were particularly watching the two of you having a private conversation.
the two of
Yes.
us?
Hey, right. Yes. Well, I'm sure it's fine. And there's nothing to be concerned about.
But what manner of creature is this person?
It doesn't matter. Mm-mm.
Recall
fine.
that night at the crossroads. Each of you saw, before you saw each other, a hooded figure dressed in black with piercing yellow eyes that flew off into the night before you could approach, and all they left behind was a handful of jet black feathers and the planchette for the spirit board.
Right. But would this be something that I had recalled from a recent conversation?
It did not come up in your conversation. I don't think it came up in your recent conversation. Feel free, I can actually see DMs. Feel free to ask me, but at least as far as I recall, did not come up in your recent
Okay.
conversation.
I
I could
thought
be
this
mistaken. Feel free to ask me.
Okay. I had maybe mistaken it for.
What
You
does
don't-
he
You don't think so? You don't think this is that?
Oh.
what does he appear to be doing now that everybody's boarded up? I stood by the door to like keep a head out and watch.
As you said before, there's no external sign of what you've done. So it looks like somebody who is loading the wagons with equipment kind of like stops for a moment, like somebody punched them, and then sort of literally just sort of wipes it off a little bit, wipes his hands, and goes back to doing his job.
He just went back to work. Interesting.
And you see is going to load up in the second cart with the lycanthropes.
I'll message one more time.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it again.
I would rather you not.
I would rather you tell me your business.
I'm merely keeping eye on you. I have been for some time.
I've noticed I dislike it.
I am not your enemy, Valentine. In fact, there are others that are watching your friends, these Nahara and Uriah. Many eyes on the two of them.
Why?
I wonder. I don't know. I would like to know. I don't know.
What's your purpose for keeping an eye out for us then?
I exist to oppose evil.
And we're friends then?
I realize it's a laughable idea in a place like this, but I assure you, wherever there is darkness, I wish to bring light.
By lurking behind us.
I think you should know better than most. Oftentimes, you have most influence from shadows.
What do you intend to do?
This land is cursed. It may or may not be possible to save. But I have to try. I think, somehow, you all are important. So I watch. Might I approach without getting more, brain trauma?
Sure, absolutely. Get close enough that all of my friends with swords can also hit you. Please, come and introduce yourself.
You see he puts down something in the second cart and then looks for a moment and picks up a box with vials in it, in like glass, and walks over to this first wagon, and he says
Oh my
very
god,
loudly,
he's coming this way.
Yes, It's fine.
Oh, you know.
Oh God, he's coming.
Give him a
Be
moment.
casual.
Prepare to kill him.
It's like, hello.
And says out loud in a different accent, cheerfully, Guten Tag, is the lab materials for Herr Horseman. I thought I should load into the wagon. If you don't mind, I do. Because if they drop and shatter, the fumes could be toxic.
Please, I'm certainly not going to do your job for you.
And he does kind of get up into the wagon. And Brother Uriah, he bumps into you. Boom. Oh, Schultergung bitte.
Yeah.
Careful, that one's
yeah.
bony.
Bitte. I'm going to try an insight check on him, if that's possible.
Okay, have at it.
He's taking his time. He's thinking about it. 15.
What kind of things are you trying to figure out?
For one thing, did he just try to pick my pocket or something when he bumped into me?
No, he put something in your pocket.
Oh.
You sort of kind of
I see.
instinctively check your waistcoat, making sure your coin purse is there, and something else is there as well.
Okay. Guten Tag. Yes, go about your business.
He puts it down and he sort of like looks around and sees horsemen coming that direction. And he says, "Comrades, I am not your enemy. I understand everyone you encounter has been using and manipulating you. That is not my intent. However, I must ask, are you aware of the state in which you left the Weathermay Foxgrove sisters in that abominable house?"
Well, we've
You
been
know
trying-
about that?
How do you know about that?
We weren't sure it was real. We thought we all had collective weird nightmare.
I don't know about collective nightmare that returned with giant psycho axe.
His perks of job is fine. Don't worry about my axe.
Are you saying they're in danger?
Extreme danger. They are trapped inside the House of Lament.
Trapped.
Yes, unable to escape.
Okay, I'm going to try an insight check just on this this sort of like I'm your buddy. That is a 23.
You detect no deception.
And he's telling the truth about the Weathermay Foxgrove.
He's either telling the truth or an astonishing liar.
Well, of course, if they're in dire straits, we'll do everything we can to help. At least I will.
We don't even know how to find them.
Yes.
You do. Look in pocket, Brother Uriah. And Producer Becca, if you would, if you have that image.
Ooh, there's a handout.
There he is. A medallion that looks like this is in your pocket.
Oh, nice.
And he says, I believe you, Nahara, have the gift of the mist walking,
Oh, yes, I do. One moment. And I pull out.
Yet. No,
It smells so strong.
the zombie flesh, it get you to Falkovnia. The Weathermay Foxgrove sisters are in Borka.
Does that require different zombie flesh?
Yet, no zombie flesh. No one has explained to you.
Yes, I think I see. I believe your ability might require something from the domain you wish to reach.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see. All right, yes.
We do not have much time, I must say. Tatiana.
Da.
He actually kneels in the wagon for a second, And then he looks up at you.
I do not marry.
And his eyes turn bright yellow. I apologize that you were injured in Del Munster because of me. I was sloppy and you see me in 3.
It was you. I knew it. I died because of you. I backhand him.
When
but
you
like
go
not
to,
too hard.
When you go to backhand him, you see he moves just a little bit and your hand goes right past him. And he says, apologies, but perhaps if you were stronger, you would have survived. That's okay.
Valentine?
Ixnay.
Tell him I'm strong.
What is word from Terokadek? We call spade, da? And he turns and looks at you, Finn. And he says, if it were possible to get the soul out of Carnival, would you do?
Would I do it?
Duh. He looks both ways and he says, my organization, we exist to put an end to evil. We know dread domains. Plenty of evil to go around to extinguish. Not enough of us. But you're sold. She's not evil in her heart.
I know.
Still time for her, duh?
Duh.
But the question you must ask yourself, Finn, if she is not true power behind Carnival, if she could go, who is the true power? Duh? You understand?
I understand, and I just give him a little smile and pat the hilt of my sword.
He actually says, Brother Uriah, you give necklace to Nahara, I think. Duh?
Yes, of course.
Yes, if this is what...
Duh. Exactly.
What?
I apologize. I would have slipped to you, but lady wearing nice garment, I don't want to be ungentleman.
Oh, I understand that. Thank you. It's very
Listen,
curious.
quite. It will get you where you need to go. This more than just zombie flesh. This open other doors. Keep close, duh?
Oh, that's wonderful because I don't very much enjoy carrying around putrid zombie flesh.
Duh.
This is I'd much rather prefer this.
You hear a small bubbling harumph from Stuart's tank.
Not you, Stuart.
It kind of seems like you do enjoy carrying dead flesh around.
Stuart is not the same as a piece of leg meat.
If you open jar,
Stuart
smells
has
weird
feelings.
also.
Stuart has feelings and thoughts and convictions.
He turns and looks at you, Valentine, and he says, respect. I'm difficult to detect and even more difficult to harm. I will not be so lax around you in future.
And neither will we. And though apparently I could kill you myself, I would have a lot more fun letting Tatiana do it.
Yeah, and
so I would
like
remember that.
I remember now moment in 3. Memory was momentarily gone when I died. But it was your fault. I asked you for help and you didn't even tell me your name.
You were otherwise occupied. I tell name now. I say my name is Voron.
Voron, who lets me die once. Okay, it's fine, Voron. I'll let you die once.
And now, everyone, please. It seems that we may, in fact, be allies here. Ron, I will do my utmost, as I say, to help the Weathermay Foxgroves, but we have another mission to attend to first. The new moon approaches, as I'm sure you know.
I will ride with you into Lakar, although I do not know how much assistance I will be in coming conflict, but I will try to watch over you, as I always do.
This organization you mentioned, might we at least know its name?
We are the Keepers of the Feather.
Feather, yes.
Duh. And you see Horseman starts heading that direction. And he says, yeah, I apologize. I do not want to interrupt you all in your writing. I go back to my position. I have left the vials for Herr Horseman. Hello, Herr Horseman. Yeah, hello. Yeah, guten Tag. And he very much like, as he turns and backs off the wagon and turns, and you see he stops and gives Horseman like a very sharp salute. And Horseman just kind of, as he's walking towards the wagon, as he shuffles backwards, and you do see him get up on the second wagon with the lycanthropes. And Bjorn says, I must tell you, I've gone back and forth in my mind about the best way to deal with this. On the one hand, I thought maybe we leave the village here intact and we come back to continue our research later, but perhaps it's better if I burn to the ground now. Although I suppose if the undead overrun it, they do nothing but wreck it a bit, and then we come and clear them out later. Yes, no, just bars the door. And you see the talons, all of them, like they get big doors that it takes 4 on each side to slide forward. And you see Bjorn holds his hands up, and you see the earth comes up over the door and just melds into the hillside like it's not there.
Most ingenious.
Yes, it is. I've been working on it for some time. I'm quite proud. It should be impenetrable, but you'll never know.
Yes.
So, are we ready to set out, friends? It is still some distance to Lakar.
Yes.
Ready.
If we must.
You see he just yells out, "Bring out the beast!" And you see from in the woods, they bring out 6 monstrously hulking animals. They look like a combination between Clydesdales and bears. They have huge, knotty shoulders, and they're about 7 foot at the shoulder, both of them. But they have bridles on and are being kind of quietly led along by talons that hook 2 of them to each wagon. I see on your face you are impressed, huh? Yeah?
What do you call these things, Bjorn?
I do not have the name for them, to tell you the truth. Before now, I was just more interested in the labor capacity. And what do you think I should call them?
Horse
Well, they're
bears.
Yeah. That's, it's fine right there.
I suppose that probably is more poetic in the Darkhan tongue. We'll workshop it.
Well, you could call them bosses.
Bosses. Yeah. I like this, the bosses. Yes, we should call them the bosses. And they're all like, jawohl, bosses. Yes.
You made these?
Oh, yes. It's the experimentation. It's a lab.
You made them.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's the experimentation? I suppose the gods makes the bear cub and makes the foal and the horse, yes. But I has made them the bosses like this, yeah.
All right.
Yes, each one has the pulling capacity of roughly 4 horses. Yes, you watch. Go. Yeah. Jawohl.
Oh, you should call them forces. 4 horses?
That, you know, now I has the embarrassment of riches at the titles, the forces or the boy. But if we call them forces, they might mistake it to overwhelming might to the Falkovnian military, the forces, you know. Yes. But you notice when he says this, they look like they just start walking like it's nothing, but you all shoot forward. Like, As they are incredibly powerful, pulling you all along like you weigh nothing.
I need my own horse to ride.
Ah, yes, you like this. Yes, perhaps after the conflict, we might be able to arrange something with the testing, yeah?
I'm gonna message to Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think this is another one of the experiments on their people, or just regular animals this time?
Of course. That's experiments on the people. I feel that's just a standard thing here. Once the animals are dead, what other options do you have?
Noted.
Agreed.
And you see he sort of stands at the front of the wagon, kind of with one foot up on it, watching them as they are moving, and looks back and he's like, yeah, good. We should be at Lakar by the nightfall. Recall it was early in the morning when you all got here, not late after dawn when you arrived. And it's just been a couple of hours before you're departing.
Very impressive, I must say.
Yeah, that's good. Yes, they have the power and endurance. In moderate intelligence, they easily spooked, unfortunately. So not much use in the combat, and they don't live too long, but they live long enough to do the things we need. Yeah.
I wonder, Herr Horseman, when we arrive in Lakar, might it be possible to speak to the local constabulary?
As we arrive, it estimates is, a little after dark. We don't want to be out on the road in too much of the blackness, nothing good is there in the Falkovnia night. The executions are usually at dawn, so if there's the prisoners, they will be there. If not, the impalings will happen the next morning. So somewhere between here and there, yeah, we could meet the constabulary.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, it's the impalings.
Impalings?
Yeah. The people that breaks the law, they get impaled.
This is a normal occurrence.
They don't even go
I
into
take
the
it then.
fighting pit?
All of Falkovnia as a fighting pit.
But then how do you know who's best fighter? If they don't face off against each other?
I guess who stays alive?
Yeah. But why? Why would you impale? You're just making more undead.
Jawohl. Nein, nicht. Before the new moon, we bring the bodies down and we burn, because otherwise, yes, you're right, the zombies up on the pikes just reanimate, and then we have the zombies around. No, this is the show of justice for the people, not for the undead.
The show of justice still presents and creates more undead, though, right?
We burn the bodies, it's fine.
It's almost like you're taking away from your own army every time.
Yeah.
But cowards, they have to no use anyway. If they're traitors to Falkovnia, they will not fight in our defense.
I see you have points.
Eh,
Just like impaling. No, that's a joke.
Is the joke, yes. No, Entschuldigung bitte. My understanding in Darkhan also is the harsh rule under Aslan, yeah?
Oh, yes. Aslan's rule is, of course, harsh but just, as they say.
Yes. Vadeska Drakov is the harsh but just as well, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Nahara's ears perk up.
Yes. So, if there were any, say, itinerant criminals that happened to flee into Falkovnia from somewhere else, they likely would have simply been impaled?
Nein. They're given the opportunity to join into wherever they join the military. If they fight gloriously, you can become the true born of Falkovnia, wherever you are actually originate from. So we are very open and welcoming society in this sense, that any who fight gloriously for Falkovnia can become Falkovnian. But if they refuse or break any other of our laws, then yes, the penalty is always the same. But Vladeska Drakov does not impale anyone who does not deserve it.
Of course. wonder how one might discover the fate of, well, I shall level with you, Herr Horseman, if I may. My mission has a secondary objective, the location of certain individuals who we believe may have fled into your nation.
Ah, spies to come to Falkovnia.
Well, not spies per se. I don't think their intent was to spy on Falkovnia, but rather to perhaps escape the rule of another ruler, or, well, we have yet to determine their intent. That's one of the reasons we must speak to them.
Well, if they were apprehended by the talons, which you all have seen, the talons are difficult to evade. We sweep the countryside regularly for deserters. They either would have been brought into the military or either impaled or perhaps awaiting to be impaled, yeah.
Would they be turned into lichens?
He turns and looks at you and he's like, no, Fraulein. No, that particular blessing has only been accorded to these four back here. There were more of them. Yeah. They gained the power to fight for Falkovnia. Yeah. They gained the strength.
Might I ask you a question then?
Yeah, jawohl. We are friends here, yeah?
Friends. If it's a blessing, why are they in cages?
How can I explain this? I do not mean to talk down to the warrior.
Try me.
Nein. I do not wish to offend. Nein. You has the sword, yeah, and the sword, it's got the two edges, yeah?
Yeah.
Such it is with the primal serum. We make it a powerful soldiers, yeah, but sometimes the self-control is lacking.
Keep going.
And so the cage is to protect them and protect everyone else as well. They understand this. I assure you, tomorrow night they will be released from the cage.
Interesting.
So they never see. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And Fen just smiles and makes sure to show her fangs.
When you do, he very much leans forward.
And I lean in and hiss at him.
And he's like, aha, jawohl. Yeah, it makes sense that Darkon also does the experiments, these things with the vampires. It makes sense with the conflict between Darkon and Barovia that you want to master this is the vampirism. And she's out in the sun as well. Most impressive.
I'm afraid. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I take a deep breath and I just look at both Uriah and Desmond I'm not an experiment.
And Desmond just waits because he sees Brother Uriah starting to talk.
Do we kill him, Finn?
I have the utmost respect for the fact that you have given yourself in the glory of your land, like my soldiers and myself give ourselves for the glory of mine. You are true warrior. You may not be the true born of Falkovnia, but yeah, you're the true born of Darkon, though. I respect you with this. Yeah. Respect.
Yes. Of course, the secrets of the Kargat must remain Azalin's, you understand.
Yes, I would not give you the formula for the primal serum as well. We might be on the path to friendships, and yes, friends still have secrets from one another. I'm sure you all have secrets from one another.
No.
Desmond just like...
You were going to say something, weren't you?
Desmond just laughed at himself and just like... Interesting. And that's all he says.
Bjorn.
Yeah.
Please do not insult my friend anymore. And let's talk more of those that will be executed. Could we perhaps see them to spit on their feet, of course?
Hey, has I done an insult to anyone here? Oh, Entschuldigung bitte. I believe it's the language barrier. We talk not the same in Valkovnia. As I did not. Apologies to everyone. Apologies to you as well, Frau Finn, if I hast crossed you in any way.
Oh, you have.
If an opportunity presents itself for me to make up for you my offenses, please do not hesitate to be asking, yeah?
Just smiles and lets her fangs come down a little bit more.
Jawohl. No, I do not wish to offend with the looking. Apologies. Yes.
I could give you a demonstration. I am a little thirsty.
Yeah. Yeah. Perhaps I could arrange to volunteer from the talons. I would like to be observing this. Tell me, is your condition transferable with the biting?
Oh, that's my secret to keep.
I have the theories. I have not had the opportunity to witness the vampire in the person. Yeah. Only the lycanthrope. Yeah. Yes. If you thirst in such a way, I'm sure we could locate someone for you. Unfortunately, I cannot. I must keep my wits about me. The blood loss. I cannot afford to be woozy-headed.
You seem pretty woozy-headed to me.
What was that, Valentine?
I would just like to message to Brother Uriah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we about to have to take on an entire army over 4 people in cages?
Dear gods, I hope not. I feel sorry for these people, but they are apparently fanatically loyal soldiers of Falkovnia. I'm not sure that they would walk out of the cage even if we opened it. Wait, am I hearing you in my head? No, I'm also speaking in my head. This is very odd. Yes.
Sorry, didn't realize it was your first time.
No, Valentine. Yes. Yes. I think we should do our very best to avoid conflict. Perhaps we can save them at a later point, but certainly not before we've reached the safety of the city.
Look, do I think it's a bad practice? Sure. Am I willing to die over it? Absolutely not. I've found out that's very obnoxious. So, what do you suppose that we do as the rest of our friends are gearing up to start a fight?
Try to keep the peace as best we can. We will be in the city soon. Then hopefully we can learn the whereabouts of those that fled the carnival, whether they were taken or fled of their own free will. There is so much to do and we have so little time. The new moon comes tomorrow night.
Wow, the inside of your head is loud and anxious. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go ahead and pop on out of that. All right. Well, I'm sure that we can get through the trip without draining anybody of their blood and find someone absolutely not needing theirs once we get off, right?
Well said.
Tatiana's quietly just staring at Forceman, waiting for Fen to say.
If you're muted.
Like, yeah. And you see after a few moments, the carts roll onto roads that you can tell are old and worn, but have been here for some time. And as you all ride along, Bjorn Horstman just basically points out where things were that have all been destroyed, but all very much in the framework of what's going to come back. Like, yes, was a lumber mill over there, was lost into conflict 13 months ago, but will be restored when order is restored. Yes. And like, everything is kind of like, it is clear to all of you all that they are losing, but it doesn't seem clear to him at all.
And then that last part that he describes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Desmond just kind of leans toward him and is like, with all of this destruction, why is it that you keep who you deem to be the most useful in defense in cages when there's no full moon? Just curious.
And again, it was the experimentation. On occasion, they, when they get worked up, they might lose control, even with the no moon in the sky. It is just safety for everyone.
So what do these experiments entail?
Well, I've worked on the primal serum for some time. We have the soldiers, the Trueborn, Falkovnia, that volunteer for the injection to see if we can bless them with the lycanthropy, and we have had success. It has worked 7 times. 3 have died gloriously. These other 4, they are here.
So you inject them with lycanthropy?
That is like an oversimplification. It is not just a needle and a werewolf blood. And like, yeah, you're the werewolf. No, it's much alchemy has gone into this. But yeah.
Yeah, but like you're using alchemy.
Yeah.
I've heard from not necessarily alchemists, but scientists who have understood that once you have someone that is a lycanthrope, you could just have them bite someone who's interested rather than dealing with a lot of the alchemy and all the extra. Like, you just
yeah.
So why the alchemy is my question.
No, you just do the unchecked the bite. Then you have army of werewolves, which is they're good, yeah, but then it's uncontrollable. They lose the mind to the monster.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
now
crazy is what you're saying.
What we don't like to use this word in Alcovnia is insensitive, but they lose control on occasion. Yeah, That's okay. But my soldiers, they are the still loyal soldiers. Are you not the true born of Falkovnia? And all 4 lycanthropes. Rah! Yeah, they fight and they die. They with glory and honor.
So.
Their families are well provided for in Lakar for their service as well.
And how are their families provided for?
Well, they have the extra rations. They have the more secure housing inside the inner walls.
And how long before the inner walls are breached? You're pointing out landmarks.
Never. 9999999. The inner walls of Lakar will never fall. Never.
You do know that anything created by man is fallible. Therefore, the possibility of the walls being breached is always, at least, an infinitesimal bit possible.
I place my fate in Vladeska Drakov. As long as she lives, that city will stand.
That makes a bit more sense. Thank you.
Nahara, I think you were going to say something.
Nope.
Then, as you all are riding along through a strangely silent picture of a beautiful sunny day of a largely abandoned and devastated Falkovnia, after some hours pass, on the horizon, a tall, dominating structure does appear, perched on the riverfront with tall, ominous spires and high, thick stone walls that are scorched and scratched by conflict. You see the walls of Lakar. And as promised, they are absolutely littered with impaled bodies. And that is a good place for us to take a little break. But before we do, and this time I was ready, I still am going to give the names of our top tier patrons here. Again, hopefully if the fates are kind, we will reach the point that there's a lot now. There will be too many for us to list. So if you want your shout out, visit our Patreon, patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. For the record, Tatiana's encounter with Soth and Nahara's encounter with Azel and Rex Both up there. Tatiana's is up right now. Nahara's will be up tonight, as is our full-length bonus episode, The Morning Rail, which is available to all patrons. So maybe check it out. Maybe during the break. Maybe go take a look. So let's list them off real quick. Aaron Duran, Alan Zozo, Aurelia Roth, Brian Dwyer, aka Nightsfall, Brian Keppy, Chip Reynolds, Chris Smoot, Ducati, Forrest S. Moore, Graffumbly, Hell Knight Games, Joshua Lund, Kira Snow, Lucieler Trueblade, Mark Radowin, Matthew Henderson, Michael Skidmore, Mr. Albert, Rob Tremarco, Ronan Monkey, Sin 7, to Queen B, Thomas, Timo Lidicat, Zachary Hubischer, Zort in Zort 1. Thank you all so much for your support. You literally make it possible to do what we do. And with that, we will be back in 10. As predicted, your caravan is approaching Lakar as the sun hangs low in the sky. And you see Bjorn Horseman turns and motions to it as you all arrive. And he says, yeah, as you can see, the walls are 40 feet high, 15 foot thick. We have parapets at each corner. We have the room for the archers with the murder holes. We have the burning oil up there that we can also pour on them. We have the explosive ordnances that we can hurtle over the walls. Again, there was once that the undead unfortunately came from the river. They came up out of the water. That was a slight tactical oversight on our part, which cost us the river ward, but they did not die for nothing. The city stood as well. Over the years, under the wise rulership of Radeska Drakov, the city grew and grew and grew and grew with more people, and it would go outside of its original boundaries, and we have to build new walls outside of it. So now it is like cities within cities within cities in areas of fortification. In the center is the governor's quarters where Vladeska lives. Outside of that is the Bastion Ward, where the Talons and the Trueborn of Falkovnia make their residence. I think perhaps we might be able to find accommodations for you there. And outside of that, in the other wards, is where the common people live, preparing to not just go about their daily lives, of course, but also to fight in the defense of their Vaterland.
Yes, very impressive, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it is an impressive city. You can tell as it is, even as you roll up on it, although it is absolutely beat to hell, it is probably the largest city any of you, except maybe Brother Uriah, have seen. It definitely is large enough to hold thousands of people with high, thick walls that, again, are very much clearly show the signs of protracted violence and chaos. All of you give me perception checks.
10. A powerful 10.
19.
19.
17.
17 as well.
17. 18. Brother Uriah?
Only an 11, because Brother Uriah is going over in his head. Did he say murder holes?
Both Brother Uriah and Tatiana, you see all of these impaled bodies that extend up and down the walls as far as you can see. It's impossible to miss. The stench offends and reaches you before you can lay eyes on the city, rising up to the gods.
It
The
smells
rest
like
of
home.
You've smelled this before, Tatiana, on battlefields, especially battlefields that you return to plunder perhaps days later. This scale of death is something that you've encountered. The rest of you see these bodies range in amounts of decay from no more than a month. They are worn and bloated and blue, and you can see the scavengers have had their way with them, especially the eyes, which is where the crows and ravens start first, all the way down to people that are still alive. Because a common misconception about impaling, it is not quick. It is a slow, agonizing, torturous death. And there are people up there that probably got run through within today to the last handful of days and have yet to slide off of this immortal coil. There is, however, no one on these spikes that you recognize, Finn. And you know everybody from the carnival.
Oh, good. I just kind of look around and I look to the others. Luckily, there's no familiar faces among those who still, well, have enough face to recognize.
Happy to hear it.
Still very unfortunate.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
I say,
lucky.
go,
I'm sorry, Brother Uriah.
no, please.
I was just saying it's lucky that we
But
don't have to kill so many people for killing people who came to get. That would kind of suck.
And I'm glad they're not any of your friends that we're looking for.
Would be unfortunate if it was anyone I knew.
I don't think we want to. It's just kind of important information.
Yeah, I say, Herr Horstman, this does seem like quite a number of corpses to have to burn in a single day.
You see, he's standing there with his hands on his waist, and he is looking at all of this with pride. Like, smiling. He's like, yeah, the city. Walls standing, Impale is still going on. Life continues. Yeah, sehr gut, sehr gut. And you hear, like, the heavy iron portcullis is raising as you all are approaching. And he says, yeah, it is. But we are very adept at such things. We has the Arcanus. They will make the rounds starting tonight, in the night, and start immolating them. After the last group of executions tomorrow morning is usually when we set the bodies aflame. It is the way the people see the smoke and they know that it is time for the conflict.
Really? You have executions scheduled up to tomorrow morning? Leaving things to the last minute, don't you think?
He slaps you on the arm and he's like, yes, justice never waits. These two things that always come is the undead and justice. The cowards and the traitors, they get what they deserve every time.
I would like to look over your soldiers and see if they look ready. See if there's anything I could teach them.
Yeah, we know. I will take you to the Bastion Ward. We know that the Darkhan military, their exploits are not necessarily legend. I do think you rely, maybe perhaps too heavily on the might of your king, but I understand that we rely on the might of our leader as well. Although, Vladeska Drakov, she leads from the front, sword in hand. She is down there chopping the zombies with everyone else. She does not wait in the castle and, just pass decrees. But I'm sure the soldiers would love pointers from you great warriors and diplomats of all sorts.
Yes, we are not just regular soldiers, as you clearly see. We are champions.
He stops and looks at you, Valentine, and he says, I must apologize. I like to think of myself as an excellent student of humanity, or the sentience, as it were. These others, I have some idea of their capabilities, the things they do. What is it that you do, the service you perform in the service of Darkhan?
I'm more in a socialite position.
Mm-hmm.
It's my duty to rub elbows and make friends.
Yes, the intelligence gathering. I understand. Entschuldigung, we do not have many of the state galas as some realms do, where we are on wartime footing here. We cannot risk the time that could be used in defense and preparation, otherwise it will cost lives. Although I'm sure I could make some of our officers available to you if you would like.
I'm perfectly all right, though I can say in times of war having allies is still very, very important.
Yeah, that is why I want to make sure that anything that you all require is here and your needs are attended to. You will have access to every layer of the city. Of course, I cannot allow you entrance into the governor's mansion, Vladeska Drakov. You must come if you are called, but I cannot impose upon her, as none of us can. Of course, you understand this. Yeah.
I'm sure you could probably send a message, though, right?
Yeah, I will make sure that she is aware as the diplomats from Darkhan are in our midst. Yeah, of course.
I have an idea for you.
In your midst?
Again, with the humor, I understand, is that you are the very funny warrior, yes.
It is important to make people laugh before you stab them right in their essential organs.
Not that that is the plan for what comes next.
Oh, no, just in general. No, I didn't mean any specific murders.
I believe Desmond had an idea.
Sorry, I'm comfortable waiting to hear about, people getting hugged and prodded. It's interesting.
All right.
You definitely hear the ambient moans and wails of impaled people still dying as the carts get closer here.
And with the lovely symphony we're hearing from those being impaled right now, I have an idea. If you would be interested in finding another way to handle your coward problem.
He leans forward. He's like, yeah, of course. I will do anything in the defense of Valkovnia. I believe I approve the lens I would go to. If you have the idea, I would love to hear it. Yeah.
Perfect. You are impaling people for being cowards.
Not me, but yeah.
Right. As a city, you're impaling those who would not be in defense of Valkovnia. Yes.
Yeah, since they become the example to motivate everyone else into defense of Valkovnia. Yeah. It? Yeah.
Now, that, in my opinion, is not thinking as someone who is thinking truly dark would do. If you want to be dark and you want to make examples of people, making examples of the dead when the dead are fighting you seems like a waste of time. Not in that you're doing it wrong, but in that you could do it more efficiently and get people to care more. If, instead of impaling them and leaving them as examples for people to see while they walk around, lessening your population, making it easier for the dead to take over those that are still living, might you take a finger for every offense and you dangle those fingers? Instead of impaling people in the front, you take a finger. Oh, you would run and then like right the night before the dead come? Okay, cool. Give me that pinky. And then give me the ring finger. And then give me your middle finger. And when someone stands there with only a thumb as a digit, that's an example. They've tried 4 times to leave and they failed. And then once you leave them a thumb. So 8 times you leave them thumbed. And then you start taking toes. That gives you a bit more living example, living proof of their failure to properly defend Valkovnia while continuing to provide you fighters in the meantime while they still have enough fingers to hold a pike or a sword.
I understand the wisdom of what you're saying here, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. You have the bearing as a fighting man, yeah? You've done this, yeah?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Have you led troops into battle before? You commanded people
Definitely.
underneath you, yeah? Tell me, would you allow the insubordination 4, 5, 6 times?
I found that if you tempt someone with the idea of leaving and you take their finger, either one of 2 things happens. Either 1, they fall in line and then they understand. Or 2, they decide to do more dirt, in which case they don't survive after that. But where I'm from, they don't have the dead coming back to taunt us. So it may be a benefit to you to have people alive longer than 1 infraction. If a finger's not enough, take a hand. They still have 1 good hand.
Oh,
You
you
can still
could
hold a
hold a
sword.
weapon with a thumb and maybe 2 fingers. I've been practicing right over here.
This is true, but
The hand, not so much.
killing someone over 1 infraction when you could take a finger, take 2 pinkies. Those people are obviously the people who you don't want defending you, but when the dead are coming to kill you all, making more dead people seems counterproductive.
I tell you, my friend, I do this for you. In the spirit of future cooperation and diplomacy between Valkovnia and Darkhan, I add this to the list of the experiments, yeah? Perhaps I've convinced our beloved Red Falcon that maybe she give me a couple of people to make an example of, and we see how it works, if it works doing your way.
That's all that I ask.
Yeah, no, I am a man of science. I realize you must attempt things, and just because a thing doesn't work doesn't mean it's a bad idea. You have to continue refining.
This is true. And kind of having people to test would be step one.
As you all start to ride under the portcullis, and right when the stench becomes nigh unbearable, causing even some of your undead eyes to begin to water with the memory of sensory input like this, you pass underneath and enter inside, and you see, as he described, the city is almost in a series of squares within squares. The governor's mansion, the palace, does sit in the middle, higher above everything else, and you can make out the walls of each fortification as you look across all the way over to the ocean. There are a number of these heavily armed and armored people walking around, all of them with these red tattoos somewhere prominently displayed, either in their hands, their face, their neck, their scalp. Like it is there. Not only is it impossible to hide, they quite clearly make no effort to whatsoever. You also see common people that look beat down and haggard. Their cheeks are sunken, there are dark circles under their eyes. They are all clearly exhausted and underfed. Every single one of them is armed. Every man, woman, and child of any age, if they're capable of holding a weapon, they have one. Even children are dragging clubs behind them or just sharpened sticks or things of that nature. Very old men and women still make their way along with walking sticks that have had things like hooks and spikes attached to them. There is no one here that has clearly not been conscripted to the war effort. You see far across this central plaza as you all are coming in, as the talons stop what they're doing and cheer your approach. They're like, yes, yes, all hail the return of Bjorn horsemen and the heroes of Finzi. And they all, yeah. And they kind of cheer weakly. And you see one of them kind of butts a person in the back and they, yeah, Shrubona Falkovnia, yeah. And you see across the square, there are carts hooked up to, again, sway back underfed horses that have wagons where you see talons on the back of them just reaching in and like pulling out a handful of potatoes and hand them to somebody, a couple loaves of bread to hand to somebody else, skinny chickens that barely fight at all when they take them by the neck and hand them to somebody, and the people just wait there and take whatever they're given and turn and walk away. This is clearly a very desperate city.
What is it you're fighting for?
Oh, the glory of Falkovnia. We will vanquish our enemies and our empire will rise to greater heights than ever before.
So the goal is to destroy all of the undead that's coming to get you and anyone else who tries.
Yeah, until they stop their assault. Yes, we have turned back many foes. We have turned back the undead every time, and we will turn them back this time and every time hence until more arrive or stop arriving. Yeah.
Are any of these your own people?
The undead?
Yes, were they ever part of...
Yeah, Yavol, yes. On occasion, the soldiers, they die in battle and they rise again as zombies right then, yeah. Although usually they are destroyed along with the onslaught, yeah.
Yes, but how do you expect to have a kingdom when there are no people? If you keep killing your people, how do you expect to have...
No. Look, the citizens, they are they are prepared to fight in the defense of the Vaterland. Look upon them. Look, even these youths, they are prepared.
I have...
Oh, You mean the one on the walls? No, the ones on the walls are the cowards and the traitors. They would not have fought anyway. I realized that perhaps we will do the experiment to see if we might motivate them. But although I find not wanting to end up like that to be highly motivational, don't you?
Sure, I'm not concerned with what you do with your traitors. I don't honestly care at all. My curiosity more is, for this quality of life, why do you try so hard? I just can't imagine this being worth it.
Apologies. Again, is it language barrier? What alternative do we have? I mean, we must fight in the defense of our home. If we give up in the defense of our home, then we deserve to die.
This
Maybe
feels.
sometimes death is better.
Are you fighting those that are ill-equipped to take over a kingdom? Are you just slaughtering people?
The undead, they come out of the mist, and I don't know what they want. They just come on the new moon, and we turn them back every time.
I have a question, and from me this might feel strange, but do you ever think maybe there is option not to fight? And perhaps after they come every month after month after month, you maybe find reason why they come?
I have had no success in attempting to negotiate with the zombie. And he turns and looks at you, Finn, and he's like, I know that your blade has been wet many times. Have you ever had the opportunity to have the heart-to-heart with the skeleton or the ghoul that is coming to bite you?
No, why would I?
Your own friend, she understands. The undead, they come. They do not come to talk. They come to kill.
I am undead, and I do not come to kill outright.
When you say I'm undead, he stops and looks at you. And he goes,
I was.
Yeah, she also does the jokes like the blue lady with the joking. Yeah.
Yes. I wonder, Herr Horseman, do you not have a priesthood native to Falkovnia? Clerical magics and the channeling of divinity can be quite efficacious against the undead.
Yes, we definitely has the clerics of many of them worship Ezra just like you. That they are quite pivotal to the war effort. We put them, you see, the places where the walls intersect up there. We put them up there, and when the undead breach at the corner, they turns them all back. Although, Entschuldigung, I believe you, Miss Finn, was going to say something else. Yes, ma'am. Apologies again.
There's no polite way to say this, but I do believe that you owe our friend an apology.
Have I offended someone else? What have I done again? I failed.
Oh, you owe Nahara an apology.
Did I not laugh correctly at the joke? Apologies, man. Perhaps no. It's sometimes I've been accused of being humorless, and I might have missed the level of the. I apologies to you, ma'am.
And I just look at Nahara and tilt my head. Are you all right?
Yes.
Don't
okay.
worry.
All right.
I give Fen like a very just a very knowing nod, but I'll think to Stuart, I don't like him one bit.
I could kill this man easily, but there would be a number of them that attacked in response.
Well, isn't that unfortunate?
If you wish death, we will do death. If you ask me, I'm on the side of the oncoming horde.
I'm very tempted.
You see Bjorn says, yeah, and he motions a man and a woman decked out in the regalia. Says, if you like, I will have you all escorted to the bastion area where you might find a place that you might lay your heads for the night. And I will go report to Vladiska Drakov. I will let her know that you are here. When she grants you an audience, you will be able to speak with her. Yeah?
I'm sure I'll be delighted.
You also see the cages being unloaded with the lycanthropes in it. And you see they are, their cages are being laid on the side and carried by people with them inside. And he's like, yes, you know where to position them. Each of the falls at the intersection. You all make sure you do not let that fall. Do not let any undead get past you. You are the trueborn of Falkovnia. You are the best of us. They are the best of us. And you hear the people. Ah! Yeah.
Oh, I just like to cheer.
And the lycanthropes kind of like look around and like it takes a second, like almost like they start to believe it too. Like, as they start carrying them away. Yep. And he says, yeah, bitteschön, until tomorrow. And Bjorn spins and walks away. And you see the other falcons from talons rather, from Finzi fall in behind them. But you see Freya makes eye contact with you, Valentine, and just sort of like nods a bit and then looks at Desmond and Tatiana as well as she walks past. And she makes a point to just really mean mug Tatiana and nods slowly. Yeah, she walks away.
I wonder, does she want us to follow right now?
Might be a good idea.
Follow
And then
where?
right at that point, Desmond just leans in and just lets everybody know the conversation that they had earlier and that she's basically getting that we're on everybody's side. So blah, blah, blah. Words.
Valentine, I believe you were saying something, but you were muted there. Sorry.
Oh, we might as well follow. All I had said before was that I was glad Tatiana was making friends.
So, what you all are seeing is Bjorn is heading towards the governor's area that he said you couldn't come with his talons, of which Freya is one of those. And two others that he motioned towards to take you to the bastion area are coming your direction, but they're still some distance away.
If you like, I can go with these ones that are coming and you can slip away.
I think they won't notice.
Seems we need two groups. She said she would bring our diplomat to meet their diplomat. Just as Desmond said, ones that do not believe in the way their queen is leading.
Well,
And when she, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Brother Uriah, I think that would be you and I. You're the diplomat, of course, and I talk to people.
Of course, yes. So then, does someone want to tail them? Your friend, Freya, was it? And collect us later? I'm not sure we can slip away from these two guards so easily.
Seems a good idea.
I'll tail.
Stealth is not my strongest.
Mine either, but
I'm afraid I'm absolutely abyssal at it, so abysmal rather.
Oh, if you see Freya, please tell her.
Is that...
Did you get that?
I got it, but is that meant in more of a I'll fight you later or I'll see you later?
Freya knows.
A bite's a
Well,
bite, right?
It's usually both.
All right. I'm just going to scribble that down, and I'm going to go as Brother Uriah's guard.
So, to be clear, who is pursuing Freya and who is going to the Bastion Ward?
If Finn is going as his guard, I'll fall back because Finn going as his guard is perfect as a tail, and I'll just ride with the remainder of the party.
Oh, okay. Then I will
I
go
was
to
gonna
see
join
Freya.
Uriah.
It's what I would like to do.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm in a little bit of a quandary because I don't know how much I could stealth with some vast wings. However, I don't know how much I would fit in this meeting.
Well, it seems, if I might make a recommendation, I believe Finn, Uriah, and Nahara should go to the Bastion Wing, since you have an interesting mix of both muscle and diplomat, and Valentine, Tatiana, and Desmond should attempt to follow Freya, because you will also have a mixture of muscle and diplomat.
Splendid.
Sounds
Seems
good.
good.
As Nahara joins us, Uriah just says, Nahara, I am so sorry about that man.
It's just ill-informed is all.
Yes, I wish I could have found the courage to speak up as Fen did to defend you, but we are in enemy territory, and I think it vital that we maintain our cover.
Yes, I got a little too upset. I shouldn't have said what I said, but I'm glad at least you can see that I'm not like that.
Of course, and thank you, Fen.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you, Fen.
Oh, one last
That really
thing.
meant a lot.
What do you want me to kill him?
Oh, one last thing before we go separate ways. If people who try to leave are impaled, we may have a difficult time leaving as well.
We're not
Yes.
from here.
You know,
Yeah,
we're
it
just
doesn't
passing
seem to
through.
matter.
Also, I have that leg meat.
Well, that will only bring us here. We'd need to use, I believe, Fen as a talisman to return to the carnival.
Oh,
So, a couple of things that I will inform. There's definitely people of all manner of dress and custom impaled along the walls. Some of them clearly are not dressed like the other people here in Falkovnia and are still very much staked outside. The other thing, you are aware that you have to make it to the mist for this ability to work for you. It allows you passage through the mist, but you've got to get to the mist in order to potentially use it.
Nahara, I don't think you need to carry stinky meat anymore. I mean, it's your choice.
I really don't like to, but it might come in useful later. I'll put it away. I'll put it away.
Okay.
Finn,
Yes.
give me a perception check with advantage.
Oh. That is a nat 20 on the first one. I'm just going to roll again just to see what happens.
Can't top a 20, but let's see. Get a
It
double
was a
20.
dirty 20. It was a nat and a dirty.
You see at the other side of the area, near where the people are getting food handed out, you would blink and miss it. You see a child that is holding on to a small, boneless, stuffed animal, and a bright red carnival ticket is tucked in their back pocket.
Oh boy. Are they human, elven?
You have only seen humans here. Nobody has seemed to look particularly strangely at Nahara and Tatiana and Valentine beyond how everyone looks at Nahara, Tatiana, and Valentine. But 100% of the locals seem human, and nobody's cast a scant look at you either. Which is actually, it's kind of unusual how chill they are with all of this. It very much seems like you are either on our side or you are not on our side, and it kind of doesn't matter what you are. Like, we're all Falkovnians or we are not Falkovnians is very much the vibe you get.
Is child alone, or do they seem to be trying to get someone's attention?
The child is in the food line. There is an old man that is next to them that is leaning heavily on one of these homemade pikes. You also see the child's got the ticket tucked in one pocket, and they're holding a sling in the other.
Oh boy.
Again, 100% of the people are armed. Most of them are armed with makeshift stuff that it's just like broken clubs, broken like chunks off of wagons and things, threshing hooks, things of that nature. Only the talons are effectively armed and armored. But I'll give you with that natural 20 a few things that you clock here, along with this child. The warriors, the talons, are all legit. You've been around enough fighting people. Like, these are real hard-boiled, dyed-in-the-wool veteran fighters. They look haggard too, but they look less haggard. They clearly are eating better, but they're disciplined. They're all armed. They are ready. They are all vigilant. Again, the people, based especially on everything you've heard Bjorn say, and now you're hearing, the people that join the army and become talons are just better fed and better provided for. But by the same token, if they've survived up until now, they've survived for a reason. Like, none of these people are pushovers. The commoners are just clinging to life. They're just trying to make it through another day, not become zombie food, not step on the wrong toes. But you do get the distinct impression the people really like the military is trying to provide for them. Like, there does not seem inequality. There's just not enough to go around. And the soldiers eat first because the soldiers need to maintain their strength. But this, like, we're all Falkovnian. They really seem to believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lean over to Uriah. Brother.
Yes?
That child has a carnival ticket here in Falkovnia.
I believe that is what is termed a clue, yes? I mean, how else could they have got it? The carnival doesn't generally travel to Falkovnia, does it?
No, we don't.
Recall, in the strictest technical sense, the carnival was in Falkovnia. She brought it here in pursuit of the caller. The carnival is kind of its own bubble domain that enters other domains. And the 4 missing people ostensibly went out to hand out flyers and spread the word about the carnival like you do everywhere you go. They just didn't come back.
Oh dear.
Could that be our ticket back?
Literally.
Yes.
Yes. How best to approach this, do you think?
If you recall, I did save you as a child, Uriah. I can speak to small humans.
Oh, yes, I have no doubt. I have known from personal experience that that's the case.
Just be my backup in case she's frightened of a drow.
Of course.
I kneel down, actually. Go. Hey, where'd you get that red ticket?
Hello. You are so pretty.
Well, hello. What's your name?
Hildy.
Hildy.
Yeah.
I'm Fen.
Nice to meet you, Finn. I have a doll. And she holds it up and shows you, and it is a floppy, boneless plushie, just like that Valentine gave Brother Uriah.
My friend has the same thing. Where did you get yours?
Sehr gut. We are both so lucky to have, yeah? is the people came. They came and they were in the square and they did the tumbling. I'd never seen anything like this. You look, he did like this, and she like tries to do a very, very poorly executed tumble. Like she leans and just rolls and lays flat for a second, and she's like, they were some more better at it. Yeah. But they gave me the ticket. They said there's a carnival, and my papa said that perhaps in a couple of days we will go visit. We cannot go outside the walls for now, but later we can.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody told you, but the undead is full. The hills, they're full of the stinky undead things.
Yeah, they told me it's okay. I'm not scared of them.
You shouldn't be. I will protect you. I've been practicing with the sling.
Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead and show me.
And I legit rolled a natural 1.
Oh my God. She's going to hit me in the eye, isn't she?
She whips and throws her arm forward, and the stone goes straight up. And what goes up must come down.
Does it hit this child?
No, but it does come down in a nearby booths where somebody is setting things up, and he just flattens this guy. And you see all the guards pull their swords and look around, but like look down and have no idea what happened. And she just goes, puts the sling behind her, and she goes, I meant to do that.
Well, you know, I can keep the guards from knowing it was you.
Could you? I would be so happy if you did this for me.
I tell you what, if you give me your ticket, I have a better ticket for you.
If I give you my ticket, I cannot get into the carnival.
Oh, yes, you can. You know why?
Why?
Because I live at the carnival.
You live at the carnival? That must be so much fun.
It's fun. And I smile and I make sure not to show my fangs.
Like, hello. When you say that, she does kind of like fumble with her back pocket for a second, and she does pull it out, and it's a carnival ticket. It is bright red and crisp. You can tell it's been torn off recently.
I take it and actually go in a pocket and hand her a golden ticket.
Mm-hmm. You definitely would have such things as and she's like, what does this do?
It's a special ticket that'll let you ride every ride if you want to.
Even the horses?
Especially the horses.
And she like starts spinning in circles like with joy here. And you notice this old man has not moved an inch and has not registered any of this happening. He's just like leaning heavily on the stick and the food line there. And she turns back around. She's like, yeah. Now, yes. Oh, thank you so much, Finn. Now I will make sure that Papa and I survive the siege to make sure we can go to the carnival, and I will ride the horses, and I will put my Papa on the horse, and everything will be so good. Yeah.
Is this gentleman your Papa?
Yeah.
Is he all right?
He might have dozed off a bit, yeah, but besides that, no, he's going to be fine. Yes, he's conserving his strength for tomorrow. He's very brave. You would not know it to look at him, but he still moves quickly when he has to. Everyone in Falkovnia knows how to move, I promise you.
All right. Well, you hold on to that ticket and don't lose it.
I will not. And she looks both ways and she says, can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
If you find the people that were doing the tumbling, maybe they will give you a stuffed animal too.
Oh, maybe they will. Where did they go after he gave you a ticket?
The talons came and they took them. I think they were going to go give the special presentation for Our Lady of Ladesta Drakov. Glory to Valkovnia. Yeah.
Oh, really? When did this happen?
I'm sure she would like to see the tumbling as well, yes.
When did they take them?
Earlier in the morning when we came for the noontime food. That was when they were there, yeah.
Okay.
After the executions.
You watch the executions?
Yeah, everyone watches the executions.
All right. You're a lovely child. I need to get back to my friend now.
Good luck. Yes, you fight bravely, and if you die bravely. But I hope you live, because maybe we go to the carnival together, yeah?
All right, and if you find the carnival, just ask for me.
I will ask for Finn at the carnival. Guaranteed, I will survive now, yeah.
Okay, be good now.
It's, and thank you for the, and she, like, tucks the sling in her pocket. She's like,
I know nothing. And I stand up and kind of wave the ticket at the others. This could be our focus to get back. Besides me.
You are muted, Brother Uriah.
Oh, yes, of course. And I assume Fen has relayed the information that she...
Yeah, well, I figured you were, like, right there.
Oh, okay, yeah, just sort of, like, looking nervous.
Oh, I didn't know how far away we were.
Yeah.
Well, I figured when Brother Uriah showed he had the same floppy boneless doll.
Brother Uriah says, well, then we clearly know that they did not flee the carnival of their own will. They were arrested, it seems, by Dracul's forces, and we don't know their ultimate fate, but it's probably not good.
No, so hopefully we can get an audience with the Lady Drakov sooner than later.
Yes, I believe one is already being arranged. But there's the whole question of this other diplomatic meeting, the one that our comrades have embarked upon.
Yes, we should find them.
We should be nearby just in case. Somehow, I just have a bad feeling.
Right when you say that, the two guards Bjorn horsemen waved over walked up, and they were like, we will escort you to your quarters in the Bastion district, yeah?
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then we'll need some privacy, for we must get our rest before the new moon, of course.
Yeah. You will witness the superior might of Falkovnia, yeah.
Yes, we should rest up before we witness the might of Falk. Yes. All of that.
Silence. We'll need silence and solitude. Yes.
All of that.
As they motion for you all to head to the Bastion district, at the other end of the square, Desmond, Valentine, and Tatiana all give me stealth checks.
That's a nat 20.
Hey, I was about to say you're slightly conspicuous, but yeah.
11.
I'm sorry, I'm what?
But I'm like, I lost her. I was about to say, and then she's... Yes, Tatiana.
I'm completely flat on stealth.
6 for Desmond?
11.
You all are walking along, kind of following some distance behind this group of talons, and you notice Valentine's just gone. So much so, you kind of walk into a cart and sort of knock over a vendor's meager wares, Desmond. And you see, he looks at you for a moment, and he looks and he goes, sorry, Entschuldigung bitte. And he starts like trying to wipe off whatever got on you. It looks like it's some like very thin beeswax, Desmond, that he very much is trying to help and making much worse, smearing all over you.
No, you're good. You it's fine.
This is my fault. I should have been more aware of my surroundings.
You're fine. You can stop. I'm good.
Yeah. Yes, glory to Falkovnia, glory to Vladimir Drakov.
Indeed.
Valentine, you, however, are able to easily kind of keep pace with this group as they are walking. Give me a perception check. You are muted, ma'am.
11.
That's all right, because you were like, I am silence, I am death, you know?
Banging right in there.
And after a couple of moments, you hear Tregram. Did you hear that?
Did I hear what?
Oh, them talking. I assume if I can hear, you must have.
The people at this is like they're talking about the people that we're following, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I was a little distracted with being stealthy.
Oh, no, and you were doing a masterful job of it, which is, I must admit, no small thing, because you are very difficult to miss, Valentine. I did not know that your abilities with stealth and subterfuge were so highly refined. You never cease to amaze.
Okay, what were they talking about?
Oh, yes. They were saying that they wanted to make sure that no harm came to the Darkonian diplomats ahead of the conflict, but if you all were going to return with a unfavorable review of Falkovnia, you would not be allowed to return.
Okay.
At least I think that's what they said. My Falkovnian is rusty. I might have misplaced a word or two, but...
They're just concerned about how we're going to speak about Falkovnia outside of Falkovnia.
I got the distinct impression you would not be allowed to speak ill of Falkovnia outside of Falkovnia.
Did that impression come from them saying they weren't going to allow us to leave in the first place, or that we just needed to make a better impression before we do?
If they think you will leave and say kind things about them, then yes, you will be allowed to depart. If you don't, however, might I share a concern?
Yes.
I worry that Nahara's becoming a liability. That whole I'm undead thing right then. Does she not know that they could have ended up with all of you on pikes? They could have ended up with me on a pike, because if you get impaled, I get impaled.
It was covered well by the party.
Yes, but such emotional outbursts are a liability. I know you know that with your extreme mastery of your emotions and outbursts and such things.
What are you suggesting, Tregram?
Just something to be mindful of, that's all. I mean, if I were required to act, I am prepared to, of course, but I would do no such thing without your express consent.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather for now you just keep listening.
Luckily enough, that is what I am best at, and you see a little cat walking right next to you as you were easing along.
Shoo the cat towards them, like, go.
I'm more of a visual metaphor, but okay. And it does kind of creep ahead a little bit. Desmond and Tatiana.
A question, do I see
Yes.
the cat?
You do, and you never have before. There's a little kitty cat kind of weaving in and out of Valentine's legs, and she does sort of like live to kind of like scooch it along.
I remember what I know now. But why do I see it? I keep it to myself for now.
As you all ease along, there is a gate with 2 armed guards on either side of it. As they all walk through, and you see they just stand at attention as Bjorn walks by and all the other talons do. Valentine, you're pretty sure they don't see you. If they do, they don't react if you were going to try and keep with the group. You ease through. However, Desmond and Tatiana, as you approach, they do both turn and look right at you as you're coming that way.
I just try to casually walk by and say, extra hired guards. We're new. And keep walking.
Both of them turn and step in front of the gate and step in front of the two of you. And they are like, this area is restricted. Entschuldigung bitte.
Can I see Freya?
She is kind of at the up ahead in the group, yeah. But she is like very much just walking forward.
I'm gonna try to get a message to Freya.
What are you gonna say to her?
Do you think that you could maybe turn around and help out a little?
She turns around and sees. She's like, ach, scheiße. Nein, you are not supposed to be in here, Valentine.
Your head? Well, too bad. Go.
It's no.
Tatiana.
Here, Valentine.
I require your assistance, as does Tatiana, and I just happen to think that you might want to.
You see, she stops and slows down slightly as the rest of the guards kind of keep walking.
I just say new hired guards.
No, that is not how it works here, okay. You see, she kind of like slips out of view for a second and kind of pops back out from more stands when you get here. Again, this is probably old Lakar. You know, like this was the original city. And it is nowhere near as worn. It is by no means luxurious. It is still very old. But there's far less signs of squalor here. Things are a little nicer, but still, very much frontier wartime living. Whatever Vladeska Drakov is, she is not overly ostentatious. She sort of pops out again, and she's like, do they have coin? Do they have anything they can do to bribe the gods? Perhaps not. Perhaps maybe not the money or the gold and silver. It works everywhere. But do they have something they can offer them that might be of use?
I'll throw a message back to Nahara.
This is Tatiana. Well, Nahara, Uriah, and Finn have gone a very different
I'm sorry.
direction.
I thought Nahara was with Tatiana.
Just Tatiana and Desmond are very much out there being stopped by the guards.
I'll throw it to Desmond. Do you have anything that you can offer them as a bribe?
I don't think so.
They can also say they want to pay tribute, that they want to volunteer as a trueborn of Falkovnia.
Offer to volunteer as a trueborn of Falkovnia.
And he just kind of looks like he figures this is an in the head message, but what? You mean a what?
Would you like to get caught, or would you like to offer to volunteer as a trueborn of Falkovnia?
Tatiana's growling and standing very close, nose to nose with one of the guards.
You stand a head higher than him. He's not a small man, but you're still higher. And you notice he just looks straight ahead with his pike there.
Chin to forehead, rather.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he's kind of just staring at your neck. It doesn't budge.
We were sent to Drakov. She has requested us, and if you get in my way, I will axe you.
You can give me an intimidation check.
Okay. Oh, yes, I can. Okay, come on, this die has not been nice. 9.
Doesn't budge an inch. Doesn't react. It's like, all will have the opportunity to prove their worth to Lady Drakov tomorrow night. This area is still restricted.
I'm impressed. You are tough. It's true. I step back.
Desmond just stops right there and just we are considering volunteering as true blood of about Falcovnia. But he's trying to persuade, so it's not like so it's not a fully like commit, but like
give me persuasion. Give me persuasion with advantage.
Desmond, the red tattoo does not go with my blue tattoos.
12.
You see, they look at each other and they're like, one does not simply volunteer as a trueborn of Falcovnia. And when they say that, Freya from inside says, they wish to volunteer. That's sehr good. Yes, it's very humorous. Let them in. Let them in. We will test their metal. Yeah. I like this. If not, Lady Drakov, if she does not accept him, at least she will find it funny. Yeah. And they turn and they look at her and they look back at you and they're like, good luck, trueborn. And they step aside and let you all in to the governor's area.
I've already started walking past them and like fling my arms back and hit one of them in the head as I walk towards Freya.
Meanwhile, in the Bastion Ward, you all are shown through a set of circumstances that are very similar to the squalor that the people were living in, but just a little bit better, where people are probably stacked 3 times as deep into the city as they should be. The talons are 1.5 to 2 times. Like each of them has 1 roommate instead of 5 or 6, basically, in the quarters here. You can tell the houses were in a different time. This was probably the merchant ward of the city. Now there is no such thing. A lot of the windows are heavily barricaded, but they're intentionally barricaded. You see other ones that have just been outside that were just nailed with boards, just heavy things have been moved in front of them haphazardly. These have consciously been turned into defensible positions. Like you can see if they had to fall back this far, they have essentially a number of fortifications to still be able to fight from. Engage in street-to-street guerrilla combat. And they do walk you up to a tall, what was probably once very beautiful, sort of 3-story brownstone that the bottom has been barricaded with like heavy spikes jutting out from the side of it. And they kind of pull the gate open, and there is a nice foyer. And they motion inside. They say, this is the house for the visiting dignitaries. Entschuldigung, we do not get many visiting dignitaries these days. But it should be comfortable.
Yeah, quite understandable. And I'm sure the accommodations will be most sufficient. We shall be sure to speak highly of Falcovnian hospitality.
Sehr gut. Yeah. We will post a guard on your door to make sure you are not disturbed.
Oh, well, we wouldn't want to draw any guards away from more important duties. You have quite a few corpses to burn, don't you?
And they turn and they both look at Finn and they say, you clearly has the strong woman to protect you here as well. I think so, yeah? With apologies, ma'am, would you be all right if we were to leave you all here to yourselves?
Yes, we'll be fine.
Yes, you should always be on the ready, as it were. No need to protect us.
Yeah, sehr gut. And they just kind of nod and they do turn and walk away. Inside the house is pleasant but bare. You can tell it is very old furniture that no one has made any effort to upkeep. It has been dusted on occasion, but this place is very clearly not lived in, and a house that has been empty for too long very much starts to bear the signs of it. And as you all look around in this luxurious quarters in what might be a would-be jail here in the center of Falcovnia, as the sun sets one day before the new moon, is a good place for us to stop. Thank you all. We will see you next week. Please do visit our Patreon, patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. We'll see you next time.